That voice right there is a voice of power, Heather B.
I know it.
Not just on the court, but off the court, man. I know a lot of people right now love this man, and I'm one of them. I watched this man play throughout the NBA, and where he landed, when he landed in my hometown of Oakland, I just knew it was something special about him.
You just gonna skip right past New York, right? This gonna be a fight today, citizens. I ain't with it, but I'm with it.
You with it? Well, I mean, okay, talk about that part, but you know, okay. But the man came into the Bay Area. Yes, absolutely. We're going to talk about the New York Knicks, right? We're going to talk about the Los Angeles Clippers, if we need to, the Indiana Pacers, the Denver Nuggets. We can name all the teams that he landed on. But it's when he came to the Golden State. And he came to Northern California, and we embraced him. We embraced him like the leader that he is. And he had the science, he had the vision, he had the brilliance to piece together the puzzle and make what we now know as the 4-time NBA champions in the past 15 years, I believe, 4-time NBA champions, Golden State Warriors. But he was the man. They say Steph Curry changed the game with his shot. I think he changed the game with his coaching. I never heard the expression super team. I didn't understand what they said. He put together a super team. Those players weren't they weren't considered super when he was able to put them together and create a method that made them into champions. So what he was able to do with the Golden State Warriors isn't the same with what happened with Miami. It's not the same as what's happening with these teams now. I want to welcome him to this show, citizens, the one and only, the iconic Mark Jackson is
Absolutely.
Here. Come on, man.
You're too kind.
Nah, man. And he played for the Knicks.
Wow. FYI.
That's a throwaway line.
Yeah, he threw out an FYI, Mark.
Not the fun fact.
Yo, that's the fun fact, Tracy G. Mark, we got Tracy G, who's in New York right now. You're going to hear her voice. But if you look at that camera, she'll be able to see you.
What's up, Mark?
And, Mark, you didn't come alone, man. Who's this guy next to you, man?
It's my oldest, the oldest of four, Blue. Young hyena, and proud of him. So we just have a great time, and I'm extremely proud of him. Gave me my first grandson, my first grandkid a year ago.
Congratulations, man. What's up, Blue?
What up, Sway? What up?
Okay,
What's up,
so
how y'all feeling?
Yeah, man, you ain't shooting blanks, huh?
Oh, wow.
Nah, far from it.
Okay, your pop shooting points, you ain't shooting blanks, all right?
He's the assist man, I'm a shooter.
You the shooter, right? Mark, you the all-time in assists. Where do you rank in terms of assist?
Don't give me the line. I finished my career second all-time. I think since then I've been passed by, I believe, 3 or 4 guys. So I think I'm fifth.
Fifth?
Chris Paul, Steve Nash, LeBron James, Jason Kidd has passed me since my retirement. So I believe I'm fifth or sixth.
Fifth.
But think about that. I mean, a kid growing up in New York City with dreams of one day making it, not realistic dreams, to be on a list of incredible all-time greats that we know on a first-name basis, and my name thrown in the middle of it.
Wow.
It's a humbling experience.
Oh, man, and it was well-earned. Congratulations. Growing up in New York City by way of Queens?
Born in Brooklyn the first 7 years of my life, moved to Queens, and then living in Queens, traveled an hour and a half back to Brooklyn to go to high school. So I'm probably the first guy, the only guy that can claim both Brooklyn and Queens, but I'm extremely proud to represent both.
Okay, Mark Jackson, man. Hey, so tell me about your upbringing, though. What was that like?
Well, I was fortunate. You know, a lot of people in my neighborhood didn't have both parents.
Okay.
My mom and dad were married 40 years and showed me what love was all about. Lost my dad about 24 years ago and lost my mom about 4 years ago, but instilled a lot in me. And I talk about it even on the podcast. When I was 7 years old, tried out for my first basketball team, made the team. Mom and dad showed up to every game. I was the worst player on the team.
Really?
I scored 1 point the entire year, but you would think I was the man the way my mom was yelling. So the encouragement, the inspiration that she gave, and my dad would sit there and either shake his head yes or shake his head no. That's all he did. But I knew the love and the support that they provided, and something I don't take for granted, and propelled me to, you know, not only playing, but what I stand for as a man today.
I love that. Mark Jackson, man. Anything, their teachings, their way of rearing you as a child, how did that transfer in your way of rearing your children?
My dad hit me one time in my life. And I was younger than 7 because I remember it was in Brooklyn. So, but the thing that jumps out is my dad got sick 6 months before he died, and he never said, "I love you," and we never kissed. until the 6th month came. And then now 6 months before he died, he looked at me, he said, I didn't know it was this easy. You know, he's an old school black man.
Yeah.
So he didn't know it was this easy. So
To say that he loved you?
yeah, I knew he loved me. There was no doubt about it. But old school black guys, they didn't say it.
Yeah.
I raised my kids. We kiss on the cheek, obviously.
I thought Blue was giving you some tongue there, Mark. I didn't know what was going on when you said that, man.
Sway, respect the interview. My God.
I'm just glad he cleared it up. I'm sorry.
We kiss, we hug, we say I love you, we show affection. But it's the foundation that was laid by my dad. 6 months left to go in his life. You realize, and I said, I'm not raising my kids that way. So you learn the good and the bad, if for lack of a better term, the bad to propel you to become. And I'm sure Blue becomes a better parent because of some things he does that I didn't. I left on the table and didn't do.
Man, I'm curious to Blue because when being working in entertainment all these years for myself, I never considered when I was on MTV or start doing this show, Sway in the Morning. You know, we get so much exposure. As my daughter, who grew up here in Southern California, was growing up, she was feeling the effects of my celebrity. Because kids were coming up to her, and if I got into a fight with somebody on the radio, the kids brought it up to her at school. I'm curious to you, Blue, what was the effects of your father's celebrity being who he is, and then how did it affect you and your growth as a young man?
Well, that's a great question. I don't want to gloss over the fact that he told that story about my grandfather, and he said how he loves and changed so many things.
Yeah.
He said my pop-up only hit him one time. Why didn't you follow those steps? Why you ain't pick that one up? Nah, but all jokes aside, it's similar to what you say your daughter deals with. So I go through those type of things. Obviously, back when I was in high school and I was young, but even today, doing the show with him that we had, the Mark Jackson show, and it's a lot of things that go on in my personal life that I got to kind of put to the side because I'm doing something big with my father that's bigger than any nonsense. Like, a lot of people watch our show and they see my dad and they expect my dad to be me. Like, I'm not me. I got a son. This whole last few years, I've been in and out of court cases, like dealing with nonsense. Like, I got my own life, my own story. I'm a singer-songwriter. I've been working in the industry for over 10 years. So, yes, my dad's presence is sometimes overwhelming and so huge. Yeah. But it is a beautiful thing, and it's a blessing to sit up with my father and talk with him. And sometimes, who else could son?
He just palmed his
Who
head.
else could do that?
Jackson's
Who
head.
else could do that? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's only a few people.
That's what I got to deal with.
Yo, I love it, man. But that can be, as you were talking, it that really can be an issue, right? I had to really identify that my own dynamic and go, I got to be considerate that what I do will impact my child. And so as she was growing up, I made sure we balanced it out. You know, she did a lot of charity work. She went to soup kitchens where homeless folks are, and she's done a lot of work around the world because I wanted her to understand that the celebrity is just a byproduct of the work. It's the work. You know, your dad did a lot of work, you know, from St. John's to where he is now to get there. But the celebrity makes it seem so glossy, right? And it can really play a part on children's the psychological effect, right?
You're right about that. Yeah. And it is overwhelming because at the same time that you go to a restaurant or you go to events and people say, come on, that's Sway's daughter, let her in. There's some folks that's going to be like, no, that's Sway's daughter, leave her out there.
Yeah.
So that's the discouraging part about it, and it can be overwhelming, but it's also a blessing, and you can't lose sight that you're closer to getting in than you were before Sway or Mark was born. So it says a lot how far we've come in the dent that we've made in society.
Man, Mark Jackson is here. Blue, is your last name Jackson too?
Of course. What you think? What's going on?
Wow, Sway.
Rogers. What's going on?
Breaking news over here.
Ivy Carter is his last name.
Shots fired. How, Sway? How, Sway?
We deal with it every day, Mark.
Oh, my goodness.
No. I'm just saying, man. Mark, growing up in Queens, we're around the same age. So how did you grow up? Where was LL when you was growing up?
Same neighborhood.
Oh, y'all grew up in the same neighborhood?
I'm 5 minutes you can go LL here, I'm here, Run DMC here. I mean, it's legends in that whole area that I was raised in. Farmers Boulevard, Hollis Boulevard, Murdoch Avenue. So we grew up together.
So you used to see like LL on the streets?
We grew up in the same area.
Really?
Same exact area.
What was the impact of Run DMC when y'all start seeing them on MTV and
Are you
places?
serious?
Yeah.
I mean, we were like, what the heck? Like these dudes blew up, and I mean, you know it because you lived it, but it was a whole different level. And around the way, there were legends. And LL, you see the red, black, and green rock on Farmers Boulevard. You see the Hollis sign at Jamaica Park, and you wearing the Kangos and the
You used to wear
with,
Kangos?
I had no choice. Everybody did. You used to.
Yeah, that's true.
Their impact. And then you see, okay, well, L is driving a white 560 SEC convertible. Let me get one. Rev Run's driving this, or DMC, or God rest his soul, Jam Master Jay. They were around the neighborhood, and not just around the neighborhood. They were a part of the neighborhood. They never, to this day, LL still holds events at O'Connell Park, the park that I was raised in. So it's incredible to say the impact that they had, because from LL, from Run DMC, Jam Master Jay. Now you're talking about 50 Cent. You're talking about Salt and Pepper. You're talking about
Nicki Minaj.
I mean. Legends around that area, absolute legends that have impacted the culture like no place ever.
Do you see the intersection between you and them?
Yes, and I'm forever grateful.
Yeah,
I'm forever grateful. And I think, this is, you see people that there's an intersection today, but it's nothing like the intersection back then because it changed the game, because it was nothing before that.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to be part of the initial group that intertwined with hip hop and basketball or sports in general.
And now the irony is, now when you think about the Mark Jackson show being on the Come and Talk to Me YouTube channel, salute to my brother Cameron, Harlem's finest. Salute to my man Mace, Harlem's finest, and what they've been able to build. Absolutely. Man. They're two of the most intelligent people, in my opinion. Two of the most business savvy people who were able to take the culture and monetize it without bending or breaking or compromising their integrity. And they had the wherewithal to seek you out. They recruited you, right?
And was really they didn't just recruit me, they put an ambush on me. Initially it was no. I appreciate it, but no. They doubled back and tripled back, and to their credit, they you never know who you're impacting. Yeah. And here are two legends, not just in rap but in society, in Cam and Mace. And they were, I say this and I'm not exaggerating, they were more offended of me being fired than I was. Wow. And it was like personal. So they're like, no, we need you, and this is what we're willing to do. We have to have you as a voice. And they came back 3-4 times and really laid out a plan, and I'm sitting there, I'm from New York City, so my mindset is, and Cam and Mace will tell you, I'm like, okay, what y'all up to, man?
Yeah, what's good?
what y'all trying to do? So, and I remember specifically, Cam said, look, and Mace said it too. He said, look, you're Mark Jackson. If we mess up Mark Jackson or screw you over, we can't go back to New York City. That's true. And I'm like, wow. Yeah. Powerful. How much money was in the bag, though? Was that real? Like, how much money did Cam? New York City lie a lot. They put a 20 on it.
Y'all put a 20 on.
But I will say this: he was close. They might have put a 5 on it, but it wasn't a 20.
It was enough in the bag for him to call me and be like, "It's this amount in the bag right now, son. Like, what we doing?"
What'd you say?
You don't know what I say.
Yeah, I do.
I was down. You see, I'm here.
Okay. I love it, man. I love it, man. This is what I want to do, man. We got Mark Jackson and Blue Jackson. Found out they share the same last name. They're both in here, man. I want to open up these phone lines, have folks call and talk to you. I got a lot more questions for you, Mark, and I want to say congratulations to you. I'm glad you're here.
Absolutely.
888-742-3345. Let's take them to Queens, y'all. Mark Jackson is here. Listen, in case you want to get if you want to find out more about Mark Jackson, a lot of times, this is what I love about the current state of media, especially there's a lot of athletes who are going to the other side now and becoming a part of media.
Yeah.
You know,
athletes with experience.
With experience, I love when Matt Barnes and stacked, you know, all
Smoke,
all the smoke. I love
Rasheed
Wallace. Rasheed Wallace has an awesome podcast as well.
Shout out to you, Sheed, you and Tariq.
Mark Jackson's podcast, The Mark Jackson Show. It's great hearing you talk, man. I like when people ask you these questions about your career. They'll ask you who's your top 5, whatever, right? Who's your top 5 point guards? Who's your top 5 centers? I'm going to ask you, who are your top 5 MCs that came from Queens?
That came from Queens.
Ooh.
Wow.
That's tough.
Yeah, man. I'm going to back up.
In no order.
No order.
Obviously, Run DMC and LL.
Okay, that's a ding.
50 Cent.
Right.
Two more left.
Nicki Minaj got to be in there.
Nicki, come on. She's doing things no one else has ever done.
Yeah.
True life.
Damn.
Take your time. Take your time.
Final slot.
Where Cool G rap from? Is this Brooklyn?
I feel like Queens adjacent for some reason. I would have thought Nas, maybe Mark would have said.
Oh, Nas. Yeah,
I'm getting the Nas. I was
Okay.
saving. I'm trying to find another spot.
So
Okay.
so LL and Run are like 1A and 1B. Like that's the same for you.
They're just in there.
They're just in there. Okay.
LL.
They're ahead
So
of the class.
Okay, LL,
Yeah, and
Run, Nicki Minaj,
Okay, I
50,
got
he
it.
said.
50 and Nas.
50 and Nas.
50 and Nas.
Man, that starting lineup is crazy. That's
That's
like an
crazy.
all-star game right there.
That's crazy.
It's like an all-star game
That's
right
a
there.
Hall of Fame game.
That's a Hall of Fame game, right?
That's dope.
You came out. Okay, I'm Tracy and Heather. I'm gonna let y'all jump in. We got callers too.
Do your thing.
But the year that I want to say, MC Hammer put out "Let's Get It Started." Big Daddy Kane put out "Long Live the King." Public Enemy put out "It Takes a Nation." Too Short put out "Life Is Too Short." This was all in 1988,
Ooh.
and Mark Jackson won Rookie of the Year, all in the same year.
Unbelievable.
Goodness.
Ain't that something?
One of those things don't fit. We just keeping it real here.
Yeah, right.
One of those things don't fit.
But it does fit because that to me is symbolic of the intersection between music, culture, and sports in our communities. You are as important to us as the biggest rapper and as the biggest drug dealer. You know, let's not skate over that.
Right.
It all kind of was going hand in hand at one point, right?
No question.
Especially in Queens. How did you avoid all of that? You know, even though you got your parents, when you're in the streets, that's something else. How did you avoid all of that? And then were you connected to, let's say, the Supreme team or members of that at that time?
Well, I wasn't connected. Obviously, you're in the neighborhood. You're well aware, and you do have a connection because there's some regular folks that become kingpins.
Yeah, yeah.
So, for example, there's a guy in my neighborhood named Bimmy who's well known today.
Shout out to Bimmy.
Yeah, shout out to
I'm his
Bimmy.
OG. This is my youngin'.
Bimmy's your youngin'?
My youngin'. Bimmy will tell you today I got mad at him because he ate my mint chocolate chip ice cream from Baskin Robbins in my refrigerator. I came home and was like, you got to go. You got to get out. I mean, he was at my house every day.
Bimmy was staying with you?
Yes. He'd show up to my house every day, and in college he'd be at my apartment every day and eat my ice cream and go in my fridge. And a year and a half later, I'm Rookie of the Year, and I drive to the neighborhood, and I see Bim get in the car. I get him in the car, and he's riding shotgun with me, and we're riding, listening to music and chilling. Next thing you know, the cops pull me over because I'm in a black BMW in the neighborhood. They didn't know it was me, and I look over to the passenger seat, and Bimmy's fixing stuff in his pants. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, he has some stuff on. I'm like, got some stuff on? This is new to me. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? I said, just stay still. Cops let me go because they recognized who I was, thank God. I pull over the next block, get out. You ain't riding with me. You ain't riding with me. But you think about people that get in it could have been a headline story, and you think I'm affiliated with him. I got nothing to do with him. It's just a pure coincidence. But to his credit, he's changed his life. He's made better decisions.
Absolutely.
And he's still a brother for life. But there's times that you learn a lesson. You got to say, I'll catch you on the other side or down the road. But today, you ain't messing up my hustle. You ain't messing up what I got going on. But it's people that you're connected to in the neighborhood every single day, whether it's rappers, drug dealers, whatever it may be. You got to use wisdom and learn lessons and say, that's not for me, and I'm not going to deal with that.
Mark Jackson, man, I love it, man. We got a lot of people on the phone
Yeah,
lines.
we got to take these calls.
Okay, let me start with Kilo from Minneapolis.
Kilo.
Man, what up, Kilo? We was just talking about drugs.
You know what?
Crazy.
I'm sorry, Kilo. Welcome to the show. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
She's
Kilo.
not happy with you, Sway, at all. Like,
Heather, you talk to her. Go ahead.
Key, don't pay him no mind. You know how he is every single day. He fresh off of Napa Valley, little hungover still. But go ahead, Key. I got you. What's up, sis?
Nah, you're cool. So basically, y'all already answered half my questions that I had. But I was looking into something, and it said that, not in a rude way, I mean this like straight up respect. So is there a reason why it said some people won't sign with you or like hire you because of some attitude issue? Is that right? Is that your view on it?
Cause some what?
Attitude issue.
Attitude.
You got some attitude issue, and not in a like rude ass way or nothing, but like you got attitude problem or something, because that's how the media made it sound, at least from how I looked at it.
Kilo, I thank you for the question. That's a great question. It gives me a platform to respond to a lot of nonsense. I think, in fairness, I was always raised like you don't respond to everything because at the end of the day, stay true to who you are, and people will say, well, this guy ain't acting. Well, it's been 59 years now and 40 with a platform that I've been consistent and with who I am as a man, as a father, as a friend, as a leader, and people still believe the nonsense that's written. So at some point, like I get my family like, you got to say something, Dad. I'm like, no, chill. It'll play itself out. But it play itself out doesn't, which is unfortunate. We're in a time where a lie will travel all around the world. People said I don't like certain people and certain groups of people. You can go back and there's no quote of me ever having a documented statement on anything. But it's, well, Mark said this. Well, tell me what I said by using my words. And it's discouraging and disappointing, and it can affect you. But thank God, and I'm a man of faith, and I believe ultimately I'm going to win.
Yeah.
So Kilo presenting this question, I didn't tell her, I didn't go to Minneapolis or call her before. I don't know her.
Yeah.
But I salute you for the question and giving me the opportunity to respond, because it's frustrating. But it's and even as a man of faith, you can get discouraged.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen. And when it does, I can't wait. And I have an opportunity to truly respond by continuing to conduct myself in a fashion, in a form that is indication of who I am and the way I was represented, the way I was raised.
I love that. Kilo, I'm sorry what I said about your name.
Nah, it's too late. You can't apologize.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
All right, you a citizen, Kilo.
That's way in the morning.
Hey, Mark, before I take this next question in, I got to ask you this, man. I took a lot of heat for years. I joke around about the Warriors. I love them so much. But I didn't believe that whole, well, of course they won these championships. They were a super team. What do you think of that? Did you assemble a super team, or did you assemble guys who have potential to be super players and created a super program?
Well, they went and got KD, so they became a super team. And credit to them. That don't mean you're going to win. You got to now execute being a super team. So to their credit, they became a dynasty. What we did, and I don't say what I did, what we did is assemble a group of guys that cared about basketball and cared about competing at a high level. Before I got there, they made the playoffs one time in 19 years. This was a losing situation. We developed the proper habits to put you in position to at least compete. The first year we won 23 games in a lockout shortened season. You put together guys who not only say they want to win, but mean they want to win. And you show up to a day off and 15 guys in the gym working out, getting their game on because they care about winning. So you find the guys that are not actors, but guys that want to execute the game plan. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Harrison Barnes, and Festus Ezeli and Andre Iguodala. And you start surrounding them with veterans like Jermaine O'Neal and Jarrett Jack and Carl Landry and David Lee that care about winning and hold guys accountable. Great things can happen. And you start talking about it and you get a little bit of success. you get a little bit more success, and you're like, oh, this really can happen. To their credit, this has nothing to do with me. It's the ownership, it's management, it's coaching, and most importantly, is the players. And you can't give enough credit to Steph Curry and the person that he is. He's a better person than he is a basketball player, and he allows you to coach him. And it's incredible what they've been able to accomplish. And I was just fortunate to play a small part in it. And I shout out to Steve Kerr,
Yes.
who also acknowledges what was done before he got it. Because it's easy to say, yeah, this is all me, this is all me. He's a brilliant basketball mind, future Hall of Fame coach, and he still finds a way to give me credit for what we was able to do setting a foundation.
I love that you shouted out Steve
Yeah,
Kerr,
it's
because
beautiful.
people, they'll make up a story that you got something against
Man,
him.
I'm a bad person.
What do you think about the Klay trade?
Well, it wasn't a trade, the signing.
Yeah, the signing, yes.
I think in an ideal world, Klay Thompson finishes his career with the Golden State Warriors, but you know how this business is.
Yeah.
The loyalty only works one way, and that's not a knock to the Warriors. That's just the way the sports is. You know, everybody don't get to sign a deal at the end like Derek Jeter. Truth be told, you look back and they probably should have let him go, as great as he was.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson is going to be fine, and it's a great pickup for the Dallas Mavericks. Unfortunately, he didn't end his career with the Golden State Warriors, but that's not the way the world works. And I think I'm proud of Klay Thompson, because when we drafted him, and he'd be the first to tell you, Klay Thompson be in a group text with all the players and didn't even respond because he just wasn't like he's not a talkative guy.
Yeah.
And now all these years later, this guy is the best. I call it 15 NBA Finals. This guy's the best interview to sit down and talk to.
Yeah.
And it's incredible how far he's come. Not that he just wasn't comfortable, and that just wasn't who he is. And now he sits there and eloquently describes being a champion and making his place in the history of basketball. I'm proud as a coach and as a friend.
Mark Jackson is here, man. Hey, listen, you can continue to listen to Mark Jackson. He has his own podcast, The Mark Jackson Show. It's on the Come and Talk to Me YouTube channel. Just go to Come and Talk to Me, owned by Cam and Mace. All right, Heather, you want to jump in? You from New York?
I'm from Jersey. It's a difference. You from San Francisco.
You
Do
know
you like
I'm
when
from
I
Oakland.
say, see?
Stop
You see
playing.
how that happens?
You need to stop playing, Heather. This is serious.
You know what? I can't stand him. Again, welcome to the show. Excited to have you guys. I had a bunch of questions. I was taking notes, but I feel like you kind of answered one with this last answer that you gave, because I was curious as how much better, can a good coach make a bad team and vice versa, and you kind of answered that for me, so thank you for that. The other thing is, Sway was talking about music earlier, and I jotted down because I'm from the era, like all of us, from the N1 mixtapes, and I remember like Skip to My Lou and his rise and everything that happened with that. But is there anybody else that came from that era that should have made it but didn't? Because I feel like we just hear about Rayford Austin, but is somebody else that could have possibly made the jump as well that we don't know about, Mark?
Well, there's a bunch of guys that
Blue Jackson.
What was that? Blue Jackson. Oh, yo.
Yeah, so this is what I want to know, because it seemed like there's one. It's just like kind of battle rappers. One may make it and make it big, but there were other people that maybe should have gotten the look.
There are guys that certainly in the neighborhood and from New York City could have made it. And they have testimonies as they walk past you or you walk past them by the stop sign or by the park, because they messed with drugs, because they dropped out of school. So there's certainly legendary guys. But what I will say is two things. You can say, I had an argument with a guy. He says there's a guy in prison or in the streets is better than Michael Jordan. No, he's not. No, there's nobody in the streets or in prison that's better than Michael Jordan. That's not true. They're not better than LeBron James. Now, could they have made the NBA? Absolutely, there's some people. And the other thing you talking about, Skip to My Lou and the N1 mixtape, but my younger brother who passed away a couple of years ago, legend Escalade, who was an N1 mixtape legend, and 6'10", 500 pounds, and he could have been an NBA player, had guard skills, but he was the youngest of five, and Dad, instead of taking him to McDonald's and letting him get one like all of us, he was the youngest. So he got 2 Big Macs.
You remember?
Yeah, he's bragging, but weeks go by and months go by. All of a sudden, Troy becomes Escalade, and I'm like, wow. But he could have, if he was more disciplined with his conditioning and his eating habits, he could have made it. And there's certainly stories all throughout New York City and the streets of this country where guys could have made it had they been more disciplined and respectful to the process.
Do you think it was a discipline thing with even with Pearl Washington? Because I remember hearing like how great he was in high school and how great he was in college, but somehow the transition to the pros, because I know, as you're saying, that's another level.
No, that's a great question, and I'm the same age as Pearl Washington, the late, great Pearl Washington.
Yes.
Truly an incredible basketball player. I grew up playing against him, and certainly respect, and people feared him on the basketball court. But I will say this. It's not about the working and the discipline and all that with him. With him, it's about the confidence. When he was in high school as a kid, he was a world beater, and he faced no adversity. When he went to college, he's at Syracuse breaking down the Georgetown press, facing no adversity. He's a guy that goes from college to turning pro early and going into the league. But now all of a sudden you're playing against 350, 400 other hyenas, and you're going to get your tail handed to you at some point to a regular dude that just got it going and nothing you could do. So how you react and respond to it it propels you to have a prolonged career, as opposed to putting your head down and being a little frustrated and getting a little disappointed. And now doubt seeks in, and you're no longer the same world beater. He was a tremendous basketball player that had a great career that I got the ultimate respect.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow,
Thank you for sharing. Yeah,
Tracy. I know
Yes.
I know you're on the New York side. You want to jump in there?
Absolutely. Thank you, Sway. This is for both of you fellas, and it's kind of on the flip side of our caller Kilo's question. The media industry is swelling with new members each day, right? And with attention being one of the highest forms of currency, you're seeing a lot of folks compete in somewhat nefarious ways for that attention, right? Ways that are worthy of critique. And it makes me interested in knowing, for both you, Mark, and Blue, can you give us some description of what you guys as a duo consider your morals and ethics? What are some types of stories that maybe you wouldn't talk about, or how you would want to talk about it? Is there such a thing as going too far with your opinions, or even with videos that is shared online?
Well, I'll answer it this way. I'll say that, and I appreciate your question. I'll say that me and my father with our show, there aren't necessarily red lines that we're not that we're avoiding, but at the same time, our goal is to speak to the youth, speak to the young ball players, young kids, and encourage people. Because as my pops just told that story, confidence is so much of everything. And after the quarantine, after so many things that we've gone through as a society, everybody is so broken down. And so the space that I believe that me and my father's show fits in is almost a nostalgic space where this is father-son again. This is moralistic values. This is interesting. And maybe we're not going to have somebody come and twerk in the middle of the episode. But you wanted that? We talk later.
No,
We'll
sorry,
talk later.
no, I'll just watch. I'll watch it is what it is. I'll get my share of twerking.
That's the beautiful part, though. That's
Yeah.
the beautiful part. That's the beautiful part of us being on that network, because Cam and Mace, as legendary as they are, and as much
bro.
incredible,
Yeah.
incredible. It's not enough that we could say about them, but the dynamic of our shows are totally different. And so I think sometimes when people even come to the channel and they're like, "Oh, this is totally different than what I'm expecting with Cam and Mace," but the niche that we've found is a beautiful thing.
This guy is good. This guy is
Yo,
good.
man, that's your dad. That's your son.
I'm his dad.
That was a proud dad moment
right
right
there.
there. Proud dad moment.
But let me piggyback one thing that jumped out as he was talking. There are people that'll say, "How are you signed to Cam and Mace? You know, they doing different things. It don't stand for what you." I've worked for folks that are not as good at people as Cam and Mace.
I bet you have. Absolutely.
So
man.
we can get caught up in nonsense.
Real.
We can get caught up in nonsense and not give them credit for who they are as businessmen and as people.
They've been making money. They have been successful for decades. And success isn't always being paid.
Right.
Success is working through the ups and the downs. That's
right.
all
That's
a part
right.
of the success. And Cam and Mace have been business-minded since day one. What other businessmen would you want to work with?
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? You got to keep that, even the way they just reinvented themselves in these recent times.
And interested in protecting your legacy.
And
How about that?
yeah,
That is a
yeah.
lost thing.
The lost art form.
Characteristic.
They throwing their
period.
legacies away for likes.
Yep.
That's
Most
right.
people,
That's
Yeah.
right.
not Cam and Mace. Hey, Blue,
What's up?
you've been really talking throughout this interview. This is your dad's interview, man.
What you mean? What you,
Yo, we know what your dad did. He done earned his way up here. That's why you
I feel
here.
like you right,
They didn't
you
even
right.
tell me you
My
was
bad.
coming, bro.
they didn't say nothing.
And you sitting in the seat?
They didn't say nothing.
Man, you got to pay some dues, Blue. You already know what
Sway
this
gonna make
is.
you work.
Come on, man.
What
you
you
came
need?
up here to talk DB. He said he
What's
was an
up?
artist, DB. I know you
Yeah.
in New York.
Yeah.
Where you think you at right now, though?
What
is
you mean?
This facility.
This. I don't know where I'm at. Come on, man.
You in the
think-
valley of the hyenas. Yo, DB, drop a beat on him, man.
They kept it.
on, man.
Mark was saying hyenas
We're in
too.
the valley. That's crazy.
Valley of the hyenas.
Make me think of my favorite chick, cause like the Ferrari and the Bentley, my chick is kind of thick, and I'm telling you, it's a semi and a serial extended. I'm telling you, hold on, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, they switched up the beat. I gotta catch the flow. I should,
Yo,
I don't
Thompson,
know.
real up.
Yeah.
Tell you right, you doing good. I don't want you to. You did good, man. Give it up for Blue Jackson.
All right.
Props for the
You
true
was-
freestyle too.
You was about to blow the lead though, so I just want to make sure.
Thank you, Sway. You saved me.
That's
Saved
coaching.
me,
That's coaching.
Coach
right
Sway.
there.
I like that, man. We
Thank
got a
you, Sway.
hyena up
That's
in
love.
here.
Hyena
Love.
for
All
sure.
right, man. Come on, man. Listen, man.
Love, Sway.
This is amazing to have you both here.
Yeah.
Father and son. You know, even beyond what you've been able, the magnificent legacy that you've created for yourself, Mark Jackson. This moment right here, man, I've never revered you more than I have seeing this relationship with your son and how comfortable, you know, even behind the scenes, people don't realize I went to meet y'all in the green room. And I do that just to kind of gauge the energy and just seeing how your son loves on you, man. That's a reflection on how you loved on him, man. So I want to say I commend you for that. That's amazing, brother.
Thank you.
That's your NBA championship right there to me, brother.
If you don't realize, I'm a crier. So
Okay. Oh, is that why you crying?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
I
great.
thought it was the bars.
no, you take things for granted,
Yeah.
and I don't take for granted being here
Thank you,
because
brother.
you guys are legends.
Thank you, brother.
So
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Man, coming from a legend, man, I received
real.
that, man. Thank you, Mark Jackson. I'm about to cry too, bro.
Cry, Sway.
I'm a mean
man,
dude.
come
I'm a mean, nasty
They
dude.
said you,
Cry-
they said
cry
you moody,
sway.
Mark. They said you moody, man.
Kilo, look at this. He crying. Kilo, he's crying.
That's why they say
Give me
you
the
moody.
Oscar. Give me the Oscar.
I got you, man. Listen, you guys got to check it out. The Mark Jackson Show. You got to go on YouTube to the Come and Talk to Me Network. Salute to Cam and Mace, man. You guys are incredible. That freestyle Mace just did is bonkers.
Yes.
Mate.
Oh, my gosh.
I thought you said the freestyle Mace just did.
Yeah,
I
he
was
did
like,
it.
Mace
Yeah.
did one.
Yeah.
That
Mace
just
is
went
crazy.
viral.
Oh, yeah.
He ignored Blues. Thank you,
Yeah.
Harry, for
Yeah.
acknowledging Blues.
Nah, Mace is crazy.
Blue
It's
can't get
Mace.
that much props for
Yeah,
one
it's
freestyle.
Mace. Nah, it's
Everybody
Mace.
got
What we
one.
talking about? It's Mace. What we
I
talking
can do
about?
one freestyle.
He's terrible. You see how you do? Eat now, get out.
I
Right?
grew up with this one. It's all
Okay.
good.
All right, but I want to thank y'all for coming by. Mark, anything you want to say in closing?
No. Thank
Okay.
you. You looking for a story or something?
No. Just please check out my show. You got to learn how to do this, dude.
Okay,
Promote.
my fault. I only called 15 NBA finals.
Ow.
Mark
no.
just done it on
The Mark Jackson Show on the Cam and Mace YouTube channel. Check us out. We appreciate the love and support. Again, thanks to the legends for having us this morning.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Anytime, brother.
For real.
Anytime, man. And when you want us to come talk basketball, you know, Heather does our sports report every day.
I do.
We're well aware of that.
Okay.
She does an outstanding job,
Thank
too.
you.
I heard you repeat some of the stuff she said on your commentating,
Oh,
but that's
Sway,
okay,
why don't
man.
you go
I just
home?